and let's go to you today. You had your hand up for a while.
Thank you, co-host Liz. Big fan of your work. I've been following it. Um, I just wanted to tell you that I have a really close friend. Her name is Lazante Franklin. She was in the industry for a very long time. She worked in Rock Nation writing camps. She worked with Rodney Jerkins, and she has a lot of information that I think would behoove you to have a conversation with her. Um, I myself, when you were talking about TMZ, I can speak to personal experience how they're full of shit because they made up a fake article about my husband. My husband, he created a technology to prevent worldwide blindness. And during one of his assassination attempts on a plane, TMZ wrote a bogus article as if my husband is some animal and spit in the stewardess' face after he had been assaulted by two stewardess. And it was on film because I recorded it. They didn't show the film, they just showed a still shot. This government is completely corrupt. We absolutely are involved in so many things. My husband's also a DOJ whistleblower. We worked in the prison system for more than 14 years doing the eye care for the prisoners, and we witnessed prisoner medical neglect that your tax dollars are paying for, and they're stealing all of the money. And it's been a whole entire cover up. And throughout this process, after they've taken everything away from us, I started to delve into your world, Liz, with Epstein, with the industry, the music industry, and so on. And also the artwork. I've even posted it in some of your threads to show you why Jay Z has such a fascination with Basquiat as well. These weeds are very, very deep. Liz, you're very familiar with a lot of it, but the avenue that I've taken, I haven't seen anyone else take this avenue or look at this, and it is so grossly obvious. I mean, there's literally a Basquiat painting from the 80s with Jay Z, Beyonce, and Aaliyah's signature on it. Okay, I have a whole video showing it. I don't do these for views. I'm completely shadow banned, so it doesn't matter anyway. But I think that it's important for people to at least see what's going on. I also want to put the video of my friend who is from the music industry, who I was speaking about, because she has information about Rodney Jerkins in regards to the same thing with minors. And no one's covering this. No one's touching him for whatever reason in the industry. But she has proof of everything. It's her story to tell. So if you want to contact me, I can definitely put you in direct contact with her. Um, but she definitely is very open about the fact that Jay Z and Beyonce have stolen more than 72 of her songs. They just steal artists' music. You're seeing more and more writers coming out saying that they're stealing people's music and their intelligence, and it's all true. It's all true. It's sad because our children are looking up to these people. I want our children to understand that they're only giving this type of access and wealth to monsters. It's not a situation like that's being portrayed like these people are turning into monsters and that's what's happening. No, 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 no. They know exactly who to put this power, well, fake power in their hands. They know exactly who to pick. And that's why you have people like the Diddies. And from what I'm seeing, this is just empire. They're just stripping the entire empire down. It's the reason that you're finding out that China's making all of your luxury brands. People may not know this, but Jay Z just sold 50% of his share stake to Louis Vuitton and Hennessy. And, I don't know if anyone knows, but Louis Vuitton is losing a lot of money now that people know that they're not actually making these luxury bags and everything. So things are tanking for him. And you also see, just coincidentally, because it's all a coincidence, that, Tory Lanez gets stabbed 14 times. And then the very next day, the attorney for Kelsey says that she was the trigger person. I can also show you that they're doing this stuff numerically. Tory Lanez, I knew he was being set up just because of his trial dates. They kept hitting him with the 13. It's all Masonic, as you know, Liz. But some of us are looking at different avenues, and I think it's important for us to come together to put the whole puzzle together, because it's like what MJ Truth was saying. It is making you like a dog chasing around cars. I completely resonated with what you were saying, because it's coming from so many different directions. So many people have so much information about everything, but it's all connected. Epstein is connected to COVID. People don't realize that the researchers and scientists that were working with him on that island had the original database for reading mRNA technology in 1998. So this has been a plan that's been in the works for a very, very long time. I also just did a video not too long ago, just a few days ago, showing 9/11. It was funny that you brought up 9/11, because everything is coming out. You follow the money, you see it, all the people, all the turning parts that were making this whole thing happen. And it's not so much that we are going to need something politically to happen. If everyone is awake, we won't put our children in these systems. Our children won't aspire to be a Diddy, a Beyonce, a Jay-Z, because they know that it's all fake now. These people are not billionaires. These people, they get put on these articles to say that they bought $1 million mansions in LA cash, and it's all fake. It's not, it's all owned by huge companies. Two huge companies own all of the real estate in Los Angeles.
Yeah, you know what? Thank you so much for coming in. And just for people that don't know, so Basquiat is this famous artist who's no longer alive that the elites are obsessed with, particularly Jay-Z, who looks like him. He styles his hair like him. And Basquiat allegedly was a sex predator slash pedophile, and has all this creepy demonic art. And Jay-Z and Ellen DeGeneres and Kim Kardashian, they all have like Basquiat paintings in their homes. And Ellen DeGeneres, she was doing a lot of cryptic videos during COVID, and the Basquiat was in the background. And I think that the Basquiat painting also has the bloody face image that we also saw, in what's the Tom Hanks movie, you guys? The Wilson, gosh, my
Something
brain's starting to
Castaway.
away, right? Something.
Castaway.
Castaway, right? Okay,
Okay.
so okay, so they're all obsessed with Basquiat, and it's like the same crap. The Podestas are like all these elite satanic pedophiles are obsessed with flaunting who they are. They're obsessed with like flaunting art that depicts literal satanic rituals, literal pedophilia. Tony Podesta, has a statue, or had a statue in one of his old homes in DC, of Jeffrey Dahmer's victims decapitated. I mean, they're so freaking sick, and they don't even hide it. They show us through their art and their symbolism and whatnot. But I'm really glad that you brought up Jay-Z, because we have a very special guest in here who just came up. Her name is Lily. She is the godmother for Ramir, who claims he is the illegitimate son of Jay-Z. And Lily has been fighting with Ramir against Jay-Z, and they've been fighting Jay-Z in court for several years in multiple states. I've interviewed both of them, and they have been fighting Jay-Z to get a DNA test, because they are 100% convinced that Ramir is Jay-Z's son. And Jay-Z has refused to do it for years and years and years. And they've used lawfare tactics against them. They've threatened them and all this stuff. So I want Lily to come in here and kind of talk a little bit about Ramir and like his story and what the status is of Ramir's case with Jay-Z. Hey, Lily.
Hey, everybody. Hi, Liz.
Thank you so much for coming in. I'm so sorry it was delayed. I couldn't find your account
Yeah,
before.
that's
You're the
okay.
most patient person in the world, and I'm sorry that you said Ramir had to work, so maybe we can get him in a space next week. But thank you so much for coming. And yeah, if you just want to talk about, I heard that the case, you refiled the case, or you have a new case that you filed. Why don't you just update us with Ramir's case and a little background on, the connection with Jay-Z and Ramir's mother?
All the drama, right? Yeah,
Oh, lots of drama.
right. So I heard the last caller talk about the phoniness of certain people in the industry and that they're not what we think. And that's absolutely true. So my godson and I started a paternity case when he was a minor about 14 years ago. And it was unfortunate that Mr. Carter's attorneys, Jay-Z's attorneys, came into the court and misrepresented his property holdings so that we lost the case illegally, if you will. Unfortunately, also, the court, once they became aware of it, didn't want to try to fix it. So it became this back and forth battle. So the case is about a baby daddy, but it's so much bigger. It's about going into a court of law and getting your constitutional rights and, quite frankly, being respected as a citizen. As a child of a Marine and my mother in politics, I know what it took for my father to fight for this country and the laws that we have. I know my mother preached to us at the breakfast table about following the law. She said, because it's designed to work. She said, when people try to break it, bend it, and do what they do, and you, as she spoke to her children, follow it. She said, that's why they're trying to break it, bend it, so forth and so on, because it's designed to work. So at the end of the day, those words stayed with me as a child, because I started as a child, 7, 8, 9 years old, working in the community, impacted me. And then when we fast forward to my adult life, when I started doing what we did with Ramir in his case, it started with his mother on a paternity journey for her child because she knew she was going to be leaving the earth because of things she saw in her health, etc. Nonetheless, the bigger problem is, and this is a big deal for me, is the due process piece. Being able to go into a court of law and get what is right. And it turned into a debacle. It turned into a circus. It turned into something that was not inhuman. And as a person who lived and grew up in an environment with the Marine and my mother being in politics, and she was a good politician because she believed in people. She believed in rights. She believed in the system. And as a result of that, so did her children. She instilled it in us. So as I went through this process and saw what I saw, heard what I heard, and when we went through all that, we knew that it was corruption on top of corruption because of somebody's money, etc., so forth and so on. Now, there's an underlining piece to this story regarding the allegations of my goddaughter's age, so forth and so on. And that's why people, I want to call them, I guess they're people, they're running. And the system thought that because we were where we were and in our economic status, we were going to run. But I knew that that was not what we were supposed to do, that we needed to stay there, be planted, and stay. And that's what I want to encourage everybody to do this listening today. As I've been listening to the story since the beginning, there's one of the things about advocates and people who've been through or been there and done that and still doing it is that they have to not give up. Just like Liz, being a survivor of the trafficking and this whole environment, she is here now for such a time as this. And there's a spiritual component, and then there's the physical component that we need to do, and picking up our mantle and doing what's right in our community and whatever our hands we've been called to do. So we went through all this stuff, 14 years of my life, just fighting stuff in a circle with a court who knew they didn't have jurisdiction and knew that they had did all these bad things. And in order for us to try to go away, they wanted to cover the cover up. But unfortunately, or fortunately for them and for us, not for them, I guess, we were people that was not going to go away. We were going to follow the process and follow the. So where we are right now is that we have a case in New Jersey in the district court, because in New Jersey you have to exhaust everything at the state level, and it's bigger than a baby daddy. The underlying issue is a baby daddy, but the instant case is fraud and fraud upon the court. And so these things and these actions, because they knew they kept running into brick walls, they kept doing the wrong thing, knowing that the law was the law was the law. And we kept fighting against, or not, yeah, fighting against and following the law allowed us to be vindicated rather. So as a result of that, um, they ran into problems and they knew that they were backed up against a wall. And then eventually we're out of the system in the state level. And now we're in district court in New Jersey against 6 judges. How about that, everybody? I mean, and one part is embarrassing, and another part is like, you got to do what you got to do because we're in America, right? So, at any rate, with that's going on, we have that situation going on. We do have another case pending in another jurisdiction, which I'll come back and tell you about another time, because this is a problem, unfortunately, with judges. This is a problem with attorneys, and this is a problem with clients, all working together for the wrong reasons. And as a result, they got the wrong people on the other side, which would be us, who believed in ourselves and our rights. It wasn't so much as losing the case, but it definitely was how you played the game. And they didn't want to follow procedure. They didn't want to do the basics. And it's something about people taking your rights away. It's not a good feeling. And then you want to do what you need to do in order to not let that happen to other people. So we've been advocating for new legislation. Some doors have been opening. We do want to continue, as I was telling Liz earlier today, we want to deal with the young lady who just came into New Jersey, Alana Hobbit, and her, I guess, well, she left her firm because she's now the New Jersey Department of Justice. We want people to look at this and look at those who did what they did to be accountable, so it never, never, ever, never, ever happens again to anyone. This was crazy, everybody. You're going in thinking you're going to do something simple. You're being naive, not realizing that people are doing this stuff. The kind of things we went through about asking for money and all the things that they did in the middle of this mess made me feel like I was not in America. It made me feel like that. Why am I paying taxes? But at the end of the day, it was a journey that I believe God wanted us to go on. God spoke to my heart, and He told me, "You don't get out the fight. I'll tell you to get out the fight." So that's why we're still in the fight, because we know that the law speaks for itself. This thing is bigger than us. It's not about us. It's about the public. I represent the public. So at the end of the day, that's where we are. We are with the New Jersey thing, with the judges, and how their actions led to somebody or Mr. Carter and his attorneys putting illegal liens on my property where I was living without me knowing about it. That's how dirty they got. Because they were going to teach me a lesson. So a lot of crazy stuff happened, but now these crazy things are backfiring because now we're in a season and a time in our country where people are taking a second look. And how does it tie with Diddy? I'm glad y'all asked that question. So Diddy's situation with the sex trafficking and all this other kind of stuff, and then my goddaughter being underage when she had my godson, opens the door to the conversation about why people are running and doing what they're doing, and some of the ties they had in with persons. And it's a funny, crazy about not and with this is that people were the way they were, everybody, before they became famous. Hello, somebody. And now you done got money. You only got funny. You done lost your mind. So some in some regards, unfortunately, with some people, when they get money, they are not able to keep or obtain the dignity that goes along with class and doing the right thing and dignity, etc. Um, they rather just do just the opposite. No restraints, which is what Mr. Diddy or Mr. not Mr. Diddy, what Diddy had. So yeah, that's our story of with my godson Ramir Sadaway. He's at work right now, but we've been on a journey on different levels dealing with the stuff in the court and then the stuff in that community, and we're vowing to make the community better. And that's what I challenge everybody that's here under the sound of my voice to don't give up. Stay what you're doing what you're saying. Be a part of the change, whether it's a small part or whatever part it is, and we will see it come together, because that's the way life is. We don't know all the pieces and the questions and all that, but God does. And somewhere along the line, if we keep our faith, we keep our belief in our systems and in each other, it will come to pass and we will see things come the way they're supposed to come in terms of the law and community, family, etc. So yeah, thanks, Liz.
Yeah, I wish you the best. I mean, Alita Hobb she's a killer. I'm from Jersey as well.